Welcome to my instant reaction show. The Niners won 30-7. What an impressive win. I picked the Niners to win, and my thought process making the prediction was that they're better than the Steelers. Now, if Bosa didn't play, I was going to pick the Steelers, which is funny because I don't think the Niners needed Bosa to win this game. I don't know if the Niners are just the best team in the league by far or they're really good and the Steelers stink. I think the Steelers might stink. But regardless, this was a really, really impressive win. And we got to go through all the people who need credit. But first, we got to start with the quarterback because I know you guys want to talk about the quarterback first and foremost. So let's talk about Brock Purdy. I can be snarky with Brock Purdy. I can't be snarky with Brock Purdy. I can be snarky a lot. But he's really good. I'm going to say he's not flawless, but he's really good. And you could see it in comparison to Kenny Pickett today. Kenny Pickett was a first-round pick last year. Same draft class as Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy was the last pick in the draft. Look at Kenny Pickett play. Yeah, Purdy's on a better team than Kenny Pickett, but Kenny Pickett doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He drops back and has no idea where to go with the ball. He has no idea where his best player is, George Pickens. George Pickens is the go-to guy on Pittsburgh, and Kenny Pickett couldn't find him. He dropped back and looked confused. He had no feel for this offense, whatever that is in Pittsburgh, whatever their scheme is. It's his second year on the team. He had no feel for it. He was terrible. He exuded no confidence, no rhythm, no timing, nothing. As opposed to Purdy, who exudes all those qualities. He's super confident. The ultimate leader. Perfect timing. Really fits this offense well. So I think it was a clear contrast between the two young quarterbacks from the same draft class. Obviously, the Steelers wish, well, maybe they're in denial, but I think they wish they had drafted Purdy instead of freaking Kenny Pickett because you could have gotten Purdy in round 7, and he's better than Kenny Pickett. Purdy does all the little things really, really well. He escapes pressure well. He's a great leader. I think he might be even better leader than Jimmy Garoppolo was. He doesn't want to be liked. He doesn't ask to be liked, kind of like Trey Lance was kind of trying to be the good guy. Purdy doesn't really do that. He just carries himself like he's 35 years old. And as a 35-year-old myself, I appreciate that. The way he talks in press conferences, the way he carries himself on the field, the way he carries himself in the huddle, he's just your quintessential veteran quarterback, but he's only 23. So all that's great. Really, everything with Brock Purdy is great until the ball leaves his hand. Then, I think you guys saw it today, and it's hard to say it or type it when the Niners are up 20 or 23. But let's be honest. What'd you think of those throws that he made today? How much zip did they have on him? Now, you might say zip doesn't matter, which is an opinion you could have. But I'd have to say, if we're being honest, he did not have much zip on his throws. He had less zip today than he had last year. I would say the clinical scientific term for Purdy's passes, they're ducks. Accurate ducks. They can be effective ducks. But they are ducks nonetheless. Peyton Manning won a Super Bowl in 2015 throwing ducks. Maybe Brock Purdy will win a Super Bowl in 2023 throwing ducks. But those are what they are. His first touchdown throw to Brandon Ayuk was wide open. Purdy's pass was a floater. So, on this offense, it seems like it's not a big deal most of the time because the defense is so good. The weapons are so good. Kyle Shanahan's so good. People are wide open left and right. You don't have to throw the ball downfield very often. There's all these open receivers 10 to 15 yards down the field who get yards after the catch. So in that sense, maybe Purdy's good enough because he is quite good. I gave him a B+ for his performance. I think he's like a B+ quarterback. It's hard to call him an A quarterback when he has very little arm strength. He puts the ball, and he does put the ball on the ground. He had one pass today that really should have been picked off. It was dropped. He gets lucky with that, but that's going to even out. And then he fumbled twice. That's another issue with Purdy. He's a little guy. And when I say little, he's the same size as me, except probably 40 pounds heavier than me with gigantic legs. So who am I to talk? But he's a little guy for a football player. When he gets hit, it's a big collision, and he often drops the ball. Today, he dropped it twice, put it on the ground twice. He recovered one behind his back. It's one of the most incredible fumble recoveries ever. And it's yeah, okay, Colton McKivitz got beat. You got hit by TJ Watt. He forces fumbles. Sure, it's tough to still hold on to the ball. Like they were up 20 and he was putting the ball on the ground, throwing it to the other team. Like, can't do that. And I feel like that's kind of who he is. He's a little turnover prone, but in his 9 career starts, he's gotten a little lucky with that. So I'm not trying to nitpick him. They won a game. It's great. They're 1-0. Wonderful. But they haven't won the Super Bowl yet. And I still think there are a lot of questions that Brock Purdy needs to answer. Like, is he healthy? Yes. Is he confident? Yes. Is he functional? Absolutely. But how much zip has he lost? Like, what was his best throw in this game? What was his most memorable throw in this game? The touchdown pass, the second touchdown pass to Ayuk. That was a really nice throw, but it was a duck. So it's going to be interesting to see how far can the Niners make it with a quarterback with those ducks. Teams have won Super Bowls with duck throwers. But I feel like Purdy's ducks like have a broken wing. Like one wing's a little messed up. He has some misses where you're like, did you not step into that? Or what happened? Did it get tipped? But still a really good quarterback. I mean, better than Trey Lance. Trey Lance may surpass Brock Purdy one day, but Brock Purdy's better than him. Probably better than Jimmy Garoppolo. Probably better than any quarterback the Niners have had in a while. Still, how far is he going to go throwing ducks? Today, real far. But I think it's fair to mention that the Steelers were terrible and had no energy. What the hell was that? Not our problem. Their problem. Solid B+ from Brock Purdy today. Give Ayuk his extension, says Nathan Flores. Hey, Patrick Peterson still waiting for that interception you were saying you were getting. He dropped one. He's the one that dropped the interception that Purdy should have thrown. CMC is a beast. Great way to start the season. Dave Barkley says, Grant, you know how I feel. And Kyle brought this team to play. They were ready. 1 yard allowed, 28 minutes in. We are not perfect, but good weapons. Now, please play Mason Moore and CMC a little less and improve our own line. Colton McKivitz. Cap Low ENT says, oh my God, Grant, you see BA completely tossed their safety during a CMC touchdown run? I did. Brandon Ayuk on the mission for the bag. David Baker says, will Brock's throwing improve with time? I don't know. Maybe. Or maybe he'll get arm fatigue and it'll get worse. Maybe he'll need a deloading week. Don't know. Manny PSF says, are we criticizing completed passes? Cold world. Are we criticizing completed passes? Giving him a B+. If you want to give him an A+, you can do that and put little stars next to his name too, so he really feels good about his performance. Scribe Mine says, sorry, Grant, we are Purdy believers now. He's going to the Pro Bowl. He looked legit and the offense put up 30. Yeah, but you guys were Garoppolo believers like 2 years ago. So forgive me if I'm a little skeptical that he's going to win the Super Bowl. He is good, though. Hound594 says, it's I know it's out of pocket, but I watched the Cohn Zone where y'all rate movies top 5. Anyways, no Rocky #1. Peak cinema. I love Rocky 1. Absolutely. It's a great movie. Khalil Kemp says, was it just me or was that the most blasé 37 road win ever? It was blasé. It felt like the Niners should have been up 30-0 in the first half, kind of let Pittsburgh hang around. Then Pittsburgh was like, we don't want to play anymore. We're done. Christian, go for 65. Geo Dude says, you tripping, Grant. Brock was ace today. Okay. That's your opinion. I thought he was B+. Good. Very good. But not excellent. I don't know. Unless you like those ducks. Maybe you like Peking duck. Maybe you like roasted duck. Maybe you like barbecue duck. I love Peking duck. I'm just going to say that. Had it last weekend. It was phenomenal. RNG Lounge, San Francisco. Got the duck. Came with the little things that you put the duck in. I liked it. I dedicated the meal to Brock Purdy, and we had a great time. Sean Barnes says, do you think the Niners created that cap space for TB12 if needed? Or Kirk Cousins? But they don't need him because Brock Purdy's the greatest quarterback ever. Wave 9 says, I hate BP, but he played good. He did play good. Why do you hate him? You hate Brock Purdy? I like Brock Purdy. He played good today. Scribe Mine says, never a Jimmy Garbaggio believer Brock cooked. I bet you were. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. All Niner fans believed in Jimmy Garoppolo circa 2019. They did. All right, but this was a defensive game. The Niners held the Steelers to 1 yard through the first 2 quarters until the end. And it wasn't really much that the linebackers were doing, the secondary was doing, the coordinator was doing. It was the front. Rushing 4. And it wasn't Bosa so much. It wasn't Drake Jackson, who had 3 freaking sacks in this game. I think it was the D tackles. I think they set the tone. Last year, the Niners had Nick Bosa and not much more on the D line. And that's why their pass rush wasn't great. Bosa was great. The rest of the pass rush wasn't. Armstead's back. He doesn't get sacks, but he creates pressure. Javon Hargrave's on the team. He's a lot better than Javon Kinlaw. And now you got like premium pocket pressure up the middle. The Niners were collapsing the pocket into Kenny Pickett's face all day, while Brock Purdy mostly had room to step up. Pickett didn't. And that's because of Hargrave and Armstead. He kept having to scramble to the side and he kept running into Drake Jackson. So, Drake, you owe Javon Hargrave dinner. Take him to Morton's. Although he's worth like $100 million and you're not. So maybe he'll take you out. Maybe you'll take him out and you'll split it. Maybe you'll take him out and you'll hit him with an IOU. But Javon Hargrave, going from Javon Kinlaw to Javon Hargrave, what an upgrade. What a freaking upgrade. This guy is huge. They got to keep him healthy because, they're sort of back to the D-line they had in 2019 when they went to the Super Bowl. All four of their starters are threats. And Drake Jackson might be the worst player on that D-line, the starting D-line, and he had 3 sacks today because he's going to clean up while everyone else creates pressure. Problem with the D-line is that the backups aren't great. And it seemed like what the Steelers did was they waited. When the Niners finally put their backup D-line on the field, like 2 minutes left in the second quarter, all of a sudden the Steelers got bold and started passing and stringing together a drive, and they scored. So the Niners like to take out their entire starting D-line and put in the entire second-string D-line. It's not that good. You can run on it. You can pass on it. They can't really stop the run or rush the quarterback. So there's only a couple of drives like that a game where the entire second-string D-line is out there, but that's a good time to attack the Niners. But it seems like in the first half, especially when Hargrave, Armstead, Bosa, and Jackson are all fresh, good luck. How do you do anything against that defense? It's really tough. You kind of have to survive the first half against the Niners if you can. And the Steelers couldn't because Kenny Pickett is terrible. And he threw just the worst interceptions I've ever seen, and I hate him. Scribe Minds got you. Arian A says BP throws don't jump off the screen will be exposed. Jimmy Garoppolo part 2. What was his most memorable throw from today? He threw for 220 yards. David W says Bosa on the field with 3:15 left, up 30-7. Why? And still no mop-up duty for Mason. Yeah, I felt like all the starters played too long. Kyle's probably going to say that he was traumatized from week 1, 2021 when they had a big lead against Detroit and almost blew it, maybe. But I think they could have been a little bit more prudent today. Christian Bradley says Steelers were garbage. Love the quality control. They were garbage. Garbage. Geo Deuces, I saw 34 million getting pushed around today. Hey, well, he's not in football shape. Manny PSF says Garoppolo was the most boring quarterback to watch. Pretty fun to watch. Look at the Raiders right now. Can't score more than 10 points. Don't miss that. Hey, Jimmy made plays when he was younger. Then he got figured out. Manny P. Frank Tom Motion says, thanks, Grant. Thank you, Frank. Joshua Wyatt says, watching NFL Red Zone, every offense has looked sloppy and lacked rhythm. Props to Kyle. His offense was the only one in the league that looked sharp. Agree. And the Niners won bigger than any team in the league today. Sheridan Milestone says, glad the Niners are starting off strong this year. Looks like Jimmy was the problem because while the Niners scored 30, Raiders only have 10. Perhaps. Let's talk cornerbacks because the Niners are 1-0 and they did beat the hell out of the Steelers, but we don't know how good the Steelers really are. And this doesn't mean the Niners are going to win the Super Bowl. They still have things they got to examine on their own side. They can't just go home and pat themselves in the back. The cornerbacks are an interesting issue. Travarius Ward, great player. Other than him, hard to say who they got. Diamador Lenore starts opposite him and has done some good things in the league. He became a full-time starter last year. Today, he had 2 penalties that directly led to the Steelers' only score of the game. There was that one run from Najee Harris that kicked it off, and then Lenore hit him late. Dude, you're up 20. The Steelers have no first downs. Why are you hitting Najee Harris late, man? Why are you hitting him out of bounds at all? You're a corner. You're not going to hurt Najee Harris. It's a little too aggressive. I felt like the Niners were really trying to go into halftime giving up no first downs, and Lenore was a little frustrated that they gave up the one and hit him late. Then in the red zone, he had an illegal contact penalty, automatic first down on 3rd and 6 that led to a touchdown after that. So still got questions with Lenore. And then When the Steelers went to 3 wide receivers, originally, Lenore would go to the slot, Ambry Thomas would go outside. It took the Steelers like the entire first half to realize that Ambry Thomas isn't good and that they should target him as much as possible, that he's the human green light. Once they did that, they moved down the field, scored a touchdown. In the second half, the Niners benched Ambry Thomas, said that he was in the concussion protocol and that he doesn't have a concussion. I don't know. Brought in Isaiah Oliver, left Lenore outside, put Isaiah Oliver in the slot. I don't have much more confidence in him. I feel like the Steelers did a really bad job of attacking the Niners' weaknesses. Weaknesses being any corner except Travarius Ward. So I'm curious to see what a team with like real good wide receivers and a good coach who can get on the ball and a quarterback who can get on the ball does to this team. Because you don't really want to test Travarius Ward, but anyone else, you feel kind of confident. Lenore's committing penalties. Ambry Thomas is an observer. And Isaiah Oliver is too. So there's something to watch. The Niners corner, they have one excellent cornerback, not two. And they may have some liabilities back there that other teams can exploit. Andy 707 says, here's $2 for a taco. Tacos are more expensive than $2 now, I think. Wayne L. Payne says, our backers smashed their running backs. True. Chris Soto 17 says, bring in JP Mason in garbage time, save CMC. I think they're afraid about him fumbling. Let's talk about Christian McCaffrey, though. He's really good. Every time I feel like I understand him as a player, I feel like I undersell him. I feel like I've said, like, he's a good running back, but a great receiver out of the backfield. He was a great running back today. Like, I was watching him today thinking, man, this guy has way more burst than Frank Gore ever had. Prime Frank Gore in the backfield versus prime CMC in the backfield. Who are defenses more worried about? I think McCaffrey. He's faster. He's more elusive, quicker. He's more moves. Gore was relentless and he was tough and he was powerful. He's more powerful than McCaffrey, but McCaffrey was so much faster and more explosive than Gore. Roger Craig was before my time, so I couldn't tell you. But I do think McCaffrey's great, and I think what's impressive about him in this game, Mike Tomlin came out this week and said, the Niners offense starts and ends with Christian McCaffrey. He's the tip of the spear. He's the head of the snake. We got to handle him first. Well, good job, Pittsburgh. You circled Christian McCaffrey on your game plan and said, this is the one guy we got to stop, and he went for 169 yards and a touchdown from scrimmage. Nice. Nice job. That just shows you how good he is. If he's the number one guy you got to stop, you plan all week to stop him, and you give up 169 yards, 7 yards a carry, he's good. He's really, really good. And I think the main reason the Niners didn't start off slow this year is because he's on the team. Every year they start slow is because their running back gets hurt. Mostert got hurt early 2021, in 2020 and 2021, and then Elijah Mitchell got hurt early last year. So far, McCaffrey's healthy, and as long as he's healthy, the Niners are going to be scoring a lot of points and winning. That's what they've been doing since he's been on the team. Only thing that concerns me is that the Niners overuse him. 25 touches week 1. 25? And 22 of them were carries? And you were up 20 like the whole game? Can't do that. You have 4 tailbacks on your team. You kept Ty Davis Price and made him inactive today. You got to trust someone other than Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell, and Debo. Like, why is Jordan Mason here? Why is Ty Davis Price here? Don't you trust him? Don't you like him? Up 20 in the fourth quarter. There's no other running back other than Elijah Mitchell that you like, that you trust. Because I'm telling you, if McCaffrey goes down, this team is in trouble. Trouble. He's that good. I had no idea. Man, I feel like he's better on the Niners than he was in Carolina. Maybe it's the scheme, maybe it's the supporting cast, or maybe he's just in his prime. I don't know. But as long as he's this good and healthy, the Niners are going to be freaking tough to beat. This is their window, the Christian McCaffrey window. Like Ayuk, excellent player, it's McCaffrey's offense. Debo, excellent player, it's McCaffrey's offense. And I think they know it. I think the whole team knows it, and I don't think they mind. I think they're happy for him to lead the way. And he's damn good at it. That 65-yard touchdown run. The Niners were letting the Steelers back in the game. They're like, you know what? We could put you away, but we're just so nice, and we don't really feel like putting you away or working that hard. So go ahead, come back. 20-7, 13-point game at halftime. Then McCaffrey comes out, goes for 65. Goodbye. Thank you very much. Like a walk-off home run. Got to keep him healthy. He's the team. Sheridan Milestone says the laterals on the pick were sick. They were forward. Lorenzo Pinto says number 57 is a monster and was hurting guys out there. Yeah, he's violent. Love Dre Greenlaw. Daniel says held my breath every time Jake Moody kicked the field goal. We'll see how he does in poor weather conditions. Held your breath, huh? Whew. Thomas Tyler says Jimmy G just threw a pick in the end zone. B+ for Brock. Come on, dude. Yeah, B+ for Brock. What does Jimmy Garoppolo have to do with it, man? Why are we always grading Niners quarterbacks based on who the previous quarterback was or who the backup is? Sorry. B+. He put the ball on the ground twice and threw a pass that got dropped by Patrick Peterson, man. He got lucky while playing very well. Tommy Huxley, overusing CMC with 3 great backs, shake my head. True. Christian, Debo was kind of mad today. Yeah. He's not as good as he was 2 years ago, but he's still good. Okay, so we just praised the offensive line, big. But there's an issue with the offense. We just praised Christian McCaffrey. But there's an issue with the offense. It's with the offense, and it's the offensive line. It's the same issue that's always had. 71, left tackle, great player. Aaron Banks, left guard, solid player. Jake Brendel, center, solid player. Spencer Burford, 3 penalties in this game. False start, holding, and face mask. So that's, what, 30 yards of penalties? I think 1 was declined, but essentially 30 yards of penalties. That's not good. 3 in 1 game. So he's on pace for 50 this year-ish. 51. He's got to clean that up. And then the right tackle, Colton McKivitz, it looked like the Niners were doing such a good job of sort of protecting him and giving him help and double teaming the guy he was blocking most of the game. And then they were up 20 and Kyle Shanahan started getting excited and confident and started calling pass after pass after pass after pass. And then McKivitz got exposed because he's not that kind of right tackle. You can't just drop back and throw the ball around and run up the score with Colton McKivitz at right tackle. You know what you got to do with Colton McKivitz at right tackle? Run the damn ball. That's what you got to do. And once he gave up the second sack and Purdy got the ball taken away from him and the Steelers recovered and almost made it a game, Kyle went right back to run the ball with Christian McCaffrey as much as possible. And McKivitz is fine as a run blocker, but as a pass protector, nah. Like, he might not even be an upgrade over Mike McGlinchey. He might be Mike McGlinchey as a pass protector and a worse run blocker. So, I mean, every team has weaknesses, right? That's the Niners' weakness on offense, the right side of the offensive line, same as it always was. It's part of their structure of their team. It's a salary cap league. They know they can't be great everywhere, and they've always been weak on the right side of the offensive line. It's almost like they feel they only need to have one good half of an offensive line. Maybe they're right, but it seems like in the biggest games of the year, that right side kills them. And I can see it happening again. If the Niners don't get an early lead against a team and they actually have to drop back and throw, Colton McKivitz is going to get in the way. If they can run the ball and play from ahead, Colton McKivitz, you won't even notice him until Kyle starts passing the ball for no reason. Up 20 in the second half. I don't know. Look, I haven't been right about everything covering this team, but I did tell you that Colton McKivitz was not good while the rest of the freaking beat core was saying the guy's really good, better than Mike McGlinchey. No, he's not. If he were better than Mike McGlinchey, he'd be making more than $1 million a season. He would have played over McGlinchey last year. Instead, he gave up 2 sacks in his first start, and now he's on pace to give up 34 this year. Other than that, he's great. Not his fault. Colton McKivitz should be a swing tackle, a backup left or right tackle in the NFL, or a guard. The Niners are starting him at right tackle. That's their choice. Not his choice. Doing the best he can. Not really cut out for the job. Surprised that the Niners can't get someone a little bit more talented than that. But they know what he is. They wanted this. Protect him. Why are you dropping back and throwing up 20? Like, those sacks for Brock Purdy were so preventable and predictable, knowing how Kyle calls plays and what they have at right tackle. So that's something they got to definitely address. They have all this cap space now, more than $40 million. Get a right tackle if you want to win the Super Bowl this year. Mr. Cut 4 says Hufanga got confused, thought he was at the Rugby World Cup right now with that lateral. That was such a cool play. I love players that try stuff like that. All right, last thing I want to talk about. This is serious. I was in the locker room after the game. George Kittle walked by me. I was standing right there doing my work. George Kittle walks by. He says, "Hey, Grant, Nice man bag. I said, hey, George, thanks. I appreciate it. And he said, yeah, I like it. And I said, yeah, I had to step up my style. And he said, yeah, well, Debo did it first. And I was like, well, I didn't know that Debo has good style too. And that was it. It was really nice. I appreciate George Kittle complimenting my sartorial choices. I appreciate George Kittle acknowledging that I'm an extremely fashionable, handsome man. Because I am. And it's about time that he acknowledges that. Because I have acknowledged for years that he is an extremely fashionable, handsome man. Now, when he first came in the league, I didn't think he was that good looking. No offense. Thought he was a little awkward looking. I don't know what it was. But then he got paid millions of dollars. And it's funny how getting dozens and dozens of millions of dollars injected into your bank account really makes you better looking. I don't know what it is, but he's a quite handsome man who has great taste in clothes, as evidenced by his compliment of my man bag. And I just want to say that not only is this man bag fashionable, but it's so practical. I never lose anything anymore. Who here has lost their wallet in the last month? Not me. You know why? Because it's right here. I couldn't lose it if I tried. The key to not losing stuff is to get a man bag that's really pretty and then wearing it all the time. Other thing I like about man bags is you don't have to put a bunch of stuff in your pockets. I think putting stuff in your pockets is for the birds. The birds! I think Kittle was looking at my man bag thinking, I'm going to get one too. I think he's just a simple guy from Iowa, but he's like, nah, man, I'm a millionaire and I live in California and I admire Grant and his style. I'm going to be like Grant. So you know what, George? You have my blessing. You can wear the man bag. I won't tell people that you got it from me. I'll say you got it from Debo, like you said I did. Although I have way better style than Debo. Debo looks like the kind of guy who goes to the mall and buys the most expensive stuff just guys. Like he's the dude who bought those big red boots. No, absolutely not. Debo wears like stuff that was fashionable in 2005, like affliction shirts with rhinestones on them. It's terrible. It's a damn shame the way he dresses. Kittle, though, I think dresses pretty nice. Christian McCaffrey dresses like, I don't know. He wears like boots. He tucks his shirt in. What is that? I mean, he's very fashionable, but he dresses like he's, I don't know. He comes from old money. You know what I mean? Like he's going to go ride his horse later, play polo. Literally wears boots. Who am I to talk crap though? I wear a man bag. Some people call it a merce. You can call it a satchel. I call it a man purse because I'm comfortable with my masculinity. Anyway, George, I appreciate the compliment. Thank you. Are there any trades possible for right tackle? Man, not after week 1. I'll look into it though. Grant got that zesty bag. I think it's super zesty. Like the Taco Bell commercial from 20 years ago. Uno, dos, zesty. Do you remember that? We used to do, when I was in Little League, we used to do I was in the outfield, and we used to do like an outfield chant where the left fielder would go, Uno. And then I would say, dos. And the right fielder would go, zesty. And we do it all game. It was stupid. But I thought it was funny at 14. Dad Z Fitness says Purdy, 2 TDs and 2 fumbles with a McGlinchey 2.0, A-. Okay. That's your grade. I'm a stickler, though. Tommy Huxley, nice merce, Grant. The chef has spoken. Thank you, Tommy. Tommy knows what he's talking about. Tommy knows what's up. Lorenzo Pinto said, did this win smell like 2019 versus Cincinnati Super Bowl bound? Man, it was week 1, dude. I'm not comparing it to that. It was week 1. Let's see. Not really, because that Cincinnati game, they put them away early. The Niners kind of let the Steelers hang around. Christian Bradley says CMC a country boy. Is he, though? He's from Colorado. People from Colorado amuse me. Like, do you guys think you're from? There's so many people in Colorado that walk around with cowboy hats. Like, what? Like they think it's Texas or something. It's Colorado. What country are you? I'm sorry. No offense, Christian. I like the way you dress. All your clothes seem very expensive. I can say that. But what is it with the guy who tucks in his shirt? Who tucks in his shirt and why? It, maybe if you're 45 years old, you could tuck in your shirt. Even then, be like, man, that guy tucked in his shirt. Why? Like if you were wearing a suit, I could see tucking in your shirt. But he tucks in a t-shirt. That's troubling behavior. Christian, you need to stop tucking in your t-shirt and wearing boots. It's okay. You're 5'9". It doesn't matter. You're a handsome guy too. And you're a good player. But stop trying to make yourself look 5'11", man. I'm 6'1", and I can tell that you're not 5'11". Stop wearing the boots. Stop tucking your shirt in. Ask George. He'll tell you it doesn't look good. I don't know who's dressing you, man. Could be your girlfriend. Maybe she's your wife. I don't know. I think you could do better, Christian. Matthew Sanders is great. Here's a few shekels for calling Ayuk for fantasy. You called Debo a few years ago, too, when he went all-pro. Sleeper pick, you got me the W. Yes! So glad. I'm juiced. I like being in Pittsburgh because the Steelers have all their, former players around. Like, right over there, doing post-game, leaving right now, is Charlie Batch. I love Charlie Batch as a kid. He's just over there talking. He was like, hey, what's up? And I was like, what's up? You don't know me, but I know you. Charlie Batch. Steelers are a cool team. A lot of history here. They just suck. What the? Can we spend 2 minutes talking about the Steelers? What the hell was that? Home opener. They had no energy. Nothing. They didn't know anything about the Niners. They had to discover late in the first half that Ambry Thomas isn't that good. Did you not read my practice reports? Did you not watch the instant reactions? I tried to tell you. I give these away teams free consulting, and they don't listen. That's on them. Anyway, quality control was the big winner today. Quality control. Because the Steelers didn't pay attention to it. I'm old. Greg says, talk shit, Grant. Niners crushed. What you got to cry about today, donkey? Nothing. I'm having a great day. HB Nate 55 says, BA is sleeper. Slept on maybe. I called him Torrey Holt before anyone else did. Torrey Holt 2.0. The funny thing is, I bet Brandon Ayuk doesn't even know who Torrey Holt is. That's the thing about football players. They know their playbook. They know the sport. They know the scheme. They can break down X's and O's for days. You ask Brandon Ayuk to explain the difference between coverages. He can knock it out. But you ask him about football history, I feel like very few players actually know it. Also, who cares? Me, I guess. Show's over. Ominous24 says, if Kyle coaches here for another 40 years, will he ever learn clock management? Man, 40 years? Is he going to be here longer than me? I don't think so. I think I'm going to outlast Kyle, one way or another. Sachin says, just joined. I love BA. That was kind of awesome. It was kind of awesome. It's nice to see him fulfill all the potential that he's shown for so long. And I really want to take 100% credit for Brandon Ayuk because, he was in the doghouse not too long ago, and I believed in him. I said, Kyle, you're crazy. Ayuk's your go-to guy, not Debo. And Kyle, who watches my show every day clearly, was like, you know what? I don't like Grant, but he's right. So, Brandon, you're welcome. 8 targets today. 4 of those were because I said you should get them. The other 4 came from Kyle. I'm the one that got you the other 4. You're welcome. It's true, though. Brandon Ayuk would be in the doghouse right now if it weren't for me. And I just want to remind people that in 2021, when the Niners played in Green Bay, I stayed out there, happened to be staying at the same hotel as his mom, ran into her at the bar, started talking about Brandon, took her out to dinner, showed her a great time, and now look at him, his career's taken off. Why? Because I took his mom out to dinner. It's a one-to-one correlation. You could even call it causation. So, Brandon, you're welcome. And you owe me. And one day I'm going to come and ask you for a favor. I don't know when that day is going to come. But you're going to have to call me Godfather when that day comes, all right? And I'll put my hand out like this. It's really gratifying when I can turn someone's career around. I have such an important impact on this team. A lot of people think I'm a hater, but I just want the best for these players. And I'm making it happen for Brandon Ayuk. Now, sure, he's running the routes. and getting open and catching the passes. But I'm the one that told him, you can do it. And I'm the one that told Kyle, call Brandon Ayuk's number. So I really think I'm doing a great job. You're welcome. David Baker says a true man doesn't care what others say about what they wear. Wear what you like and strut. That's right. I just appreciate someone who gives me a compliment, though. Like, when George came over and said he liked my man purse, I wasn't going to be like, you know what? I don't care. I was going to be like, you know what, George? That is the sweetest thing I've heard all day. You just made my day. Salutations. That's what I wanted to say. I don't think I said any of that to him, though. I think I just mumbled because I get nervous. I don't talk well. I'm leaving. Show's over. Thanks for watching. I'll be home tomorrow. 2 streams. Got a 7:30 flight out of here. That means 4:30 Pacific time. Pray for me. Got a layover in Phoenix, which is just wonderful. Such a good time. Non-direct flights. Then I'll be home around 1. I'll do a stream with Ryan 1:32, and I'll get Larry in the afternoon. And then I'm going to sleep forever. Not forever. That's kind of dark. But for a long time. Keith Murphy, the unbeaten, says Purdy talked a little spicy on Peterson. 2 TDs on him. Spicy. Just like hot sauce. See you guys. Show's over. Thanks for watching.